Many stillwater fly fishers are familiar with the large traveling sedge or caddis that come off most productive interior lakes. We're talking about those caddis adults that are almost an inch in length and create quite a disturbance on the water when they're scampering in their attempt to get airborne. These traveling sedges or northern casemakers are common in most of our lakes. But there's also another close cousin to the traveling caddis or traveling sedge that we find in our lakes, and we simply call them rock caddis. They're quite small. The adult and pupa are rarely over 8 millimeters in length, or about 3/8 of an inch in length. So they're quite small. They live in the shallow shoal areas of the lake, crawling around granitic rock structure, woody debris at the bottom of the lake, and they graze on algae and periphyton. These rock caddis are typically pupating and hatching into the adult stage during late July and into the month of August. They're probably more prevalent in lakes that have slightly tea-colored or tannic stained, but we find them also prevalent in even our clearest lakes in the interior regions of the province. So trout feed on the pupa quite aggressively when they're emerging, and so this is a good pupal pattern to have in your box if you happen to be fishing up the interior regions during the warmer summer months. Make sure you have floating lines and intermediate sinking lines, clear camo or a type 1-3, to help you imitate that pupal swim to the surface of the lake. So let's go to the tying bench now and tie a rock caddis pupa imitation. Okay, so we're going to tie the rock caddis pupa pattern, and I've got a Hannock 450 BL competition jig hook, 60-degree jig hook in a number 14 in the vise. I slipped on a 3/32 Togans tungsten copper bead, and I'm using A-dot brown, rusty brown UT70 thread. And the body of this fly is going to be Semperfly dub, nymph dub. It's on a spool and it's copper color, and then the rib is going to be medium Semperfly wire in hot green. So it's a real bright green color, which I want to really establish itself and show the ribbing. And then the collar of this fly is going to be a Hungarian partridge breast feather. Okay, so take my tying thread, form a base, and then I'm going to lay down this medium or 0.2 millimeter bright green wire, and I've just stuck it into the slot of the bead. So we're not going to use the whole shank of the hook, we're going to short tie on the shank. And then we're going to take some, spool off some of this brown copper dubbing. It's really nice stuff to work with. And then I'm just going to get back and then bring it forward. Just building up a bit of a body, like so. Tie that off. Then I'm going to take my hot green wire and I'm just giving one wrap at the butt, and then I'm winding it in the opposite direction that I put the dubbing in, so it'll stand out a little bit more, like so. And then I'm just going to take my dubbing brush here and pick some of that out, get it flowing back a bit. Just, there we go, like so. And then I'm going to take my Hungarian partridge. I'm going to tie it in by the very tips. So I want this hackle to be flowing back longer than the body, and it's just to accentuate the Caddis pupa has extremely long legs, the hind pair of legs. And so that's just what we're going to use this for. So it doesn't have to be, I don't need too many fibers. I just want it to be flowing back. So I got a lot of there, fibers there, and then I'll just tie it off, and then I'll trim some of those feathers. There you go. So we're going to be fishing this floating line, long leader, sinking leader, because you got a tungsten bead here, fast stripping it after you wait for the fly to sink to the bottom, and then short 2 to 4 inch strips, bringing it up to the water column, or you can simply use intermediate sinking line as well. Actually, we don't need to take too many off. So I kind of like it a little bushy. It pulses in the water. But these guys, you want to look for them in the summer months on your favorite interior lakes and have a few tied up. They work.